Hey, New Hope family, it's Pastor Matt with your devotional thought for today. In Matthew chapter 16, the following interaction is recorded for us. From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "Far be it from you, Lord, this shall never happen to you." But he turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man." As we know when looking at any passage of Scripture, context is critically important. So when verse 21 says, "from that time," it's referring to specific events that just took place. And what has actually just taken place is that Peter has confessed who Jesus is, the Christ, the Son of the living God. And when he confessed that, Jesus just said to Peter that he was blessed. Blessed are you, Simon, Bar-Jonah, Simon, son of Jonah. This is Peter. You are Peter, and upon you, this rock, I will build my church. Like, he's just admonished this very disciple. And now we see from that time, we don't know how much time has taken place, but we know that's what has just been recorded. And so this is not long after that he goes from saying that he is blessed, for this revelation has come from the Father. This has not been revealed by flesh and blood. This is something that God has given to him. And then he talks about how he's going to build his church upon him. And now we move from that into this narrative just now in verses 21 through 23 that I just read. Let's look again at this brief interaction. Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "Far be it from you, Lord. This shall never happen to you." So Peter, seeing that Jesus says that he's going to be beaten, he's going to be tried by the elders and scribes and Pharisees, these religious leaders, the chief priests, all these people, they're going to try him and they're ultimately going to kill him. He will not only be killed, but he will be raised. And Peter's saying, may that never happen. He's rebuking the Son of God for proclaiming the truth of what's going to happen. And then Jesus remarked to him, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me. For you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man." As Peter has the audacity to rebuke the Son of God, he says, "Get behind me, Satan." Now, one thing to recognize is this is a temptation that Satan's trying to bring about. Jesus recognizes the source of this. This is not to be insulting to Peter like we might think it is. It's acknowledging that the source of this is from Satan. Through Peter, yes, but it's Satan who's saying these things, because that is not of the things of God, that's the things of man. And so he rebukes him right there in the open and says, "You are a hindrance, or you are a stumbling block. You're trying to prevent what God has purposed to come to pass." And I honestly think as we step back at this, obviously we would think we would never say such a thing to Jesus, and hopefully we never would try to stand in opposition to his will. But if we're honest, we might also think that God's purpose would not involve suffering, and we might avoid suffering or hardship like what Jesus is describing here, because we would think, no, that's not what the Lord has. But it may very well be that that is the means that the Lord is going to accomplish some sort of salvific purpose, some sort of soteriological purpose. And it may not even be soteriological. It may be refining us, right? It may be for our refinement and to build our character. But instead of running away from suffering at every option, at every opportunity, sometimes we need to lean into that. We need to say, "Lord, is it your will for me to suffer? If so, let me step into that in obedience to you, knowing that you are faithful, knowing that you are good. And I want to care more about your will, the things of God and godliness, and your character being formed in my heart and in my body and in my mind, than I do care about my own comforts and my own desire to not struggle or suffer in that way."